when we analyze the market is the macro fundamentals. What that means is that we look into reports that will happen during the week, especially during the day. So what we do is we have a look through, like for example, yesterday, which was your Monday, my Tuesday, there were some reports that happened, and the major reports, we look into mainly the major reports that happened, and we saw that Mr. Bernanke, the chairman of the Feds, talked yesterday, and he is actually quite influential with what happens. If he talks, the market moves. So this was quite important yesterday, although what he said yesterday didn't actually make any impact at all on the market except for some pairs. I think most of the majors were bullish yesterday. And there's also major reports, for example, the Chinese yuan. The Chinese yuan reported at major one there, and also in the Swiss also. Anything red or anything, the yellow ones are called low impact reports. So they may affect the market, but the ones that it will affect most are the red ones and also the medium ones. Now to understand what the reports mean is you can always click on this folder right here. So like for example the Swiss francs in the Swiss area, CPI, what does that mean? So we'll click on that and we'll see what it means. So source is a source here which is linked to a website to see what the latest release or the result would be, what it means. And the result here, so the forecast was 0.3, the previous was 0.3 as well, and the actual figure was less than the forecast and the previous. Okay, so the effect, if it's greater than the forecast, then it's good for the currency. So then you'll see anything against the Swiss dropping and the Swiss going up. Okay, frequency, they tell you here how many times this report is released. Next release will be on the 6th of May. And why is this important? So this means this is a consumer price index, and consumer prices account for a majority of overall inflation. Inflation is important to currency valuation because rising prices lead the central bank to raise interest rates out of respect for their inflation containment mandate. So there's a whole heap of explanation here of what this report is all about. So that's quite important. Once you're familiar with this, you basically know what's involved, and then when you have trades or have setups against, say, the Swiss or even the pound for that matter here, then you'll be very careful to trade it depending on your profile. So for today's reports, there's a medium report. Now this is in Australian times. I set it to Australian times, so it's much easier for me to see when the reports when I trade. And there's a medium one on the Eurozone, French industrial production, a low impact one for Italian industrial production. Now anything with the Eurozone, I find that they affect the euro against the dollar or the euro against the yen. Even if it's a low impact one. Later on, there's a U.S. report there that's a medium report, 2 medium reports, and then at 4 a.m. Okay, this is quite important, the Fed's FOMC meeting minutes. So what does this mean? Okay, so if it's hawkish, then it's good for the currency, which means that the U.S. dollar will go up and the majors will drop. Okay, why do traders care for this? It's a detailed record of the FOMC's most recent meeting. So they have a meeting every month, I think it is, providing in-depth insight into the economic and financial conditions that influence their vote on where to set their interest rates. So something to do with the interest rates there. So that's what it means. And that's pretty much it for and then it's also the federal budget balance as well, which is also another medium one there that may affect the U.S. market also. Now that's about it, and then the next report will be for the next day. So that's what we look for with the macro fundamentals, the calendar. Any questions with regards to the calendar, events calendar?
No, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, so that's explained quite well to you? Yes, I can hear you. Does that explain quite well?
Nice, great. Okay, and then what's the next step after that, please, Anne?
Okay, so the next step is to look at the DXY. The DXY is the US dollar index. What I use here is I use the Forex Net Dania. In ESTE's website, there's actually a link to the 5 steps. Once you're into that level, then you can just go through the 5 steps, and it will walk you through what we look for from the start, from step 1 to step 5. Okay, so here we'll select on the US dollar index. I'll just expand this so we can have a bigger view. Okay, so what we look here is we look at mainly at the daily chart, see what activity has the dollar index has done yesterday. So the dollar index, what we can see here is that the sellers are pretty much in control, and it's currently at the level of demand. What we can see on the current candle is that a small indecision candle, still early during the day, so this may is showing a higher low at the moment between these 2 candles. Now it's still early, so we don't know whether to push it to the, it may push to the upside for a bit of a retracement or may continue to the downside. But what we know so far is that sellers are pretty much in control overall, creating lower highs and lower lows between this range of candles right here. And overall as well, what we can see is that it's trading between 2 points, so it's within a consolidation range between this supply level and this demand level right here. Created a new high here, and at one point buyers were very strong, push it up to this supply level high of 83.49, and then sellers took it back down to this level of demand here. Now what we can see here is that sometime in the future they will close that long tail like what they're doing right now with this candle here as well. So this also has a story where buyers push it back. Sellers push it down, and then now buyers push it back up, created that long tail, and now these candles right here are covering the shadow of this tail. So sometime they will also do the same and cover the shadow of this tail here as well. So at the moment it's at a very good demand level, and since sellers are in control, there may be some more continuation to the downside. And to see where the next level would be, we can look at the next demand level. Next demand level would be here and also here as well. And to be more objective, we can also draw our lines called the Fibonacci Retracement. We use this tool as a retracement tool. I'll just take the biggest move because this is a big move to the upside right here. So we'll take this low and grab that high right there. And it has a potential for this to drop to about this area here. This is the next level, 81.75 area, if it wants to. So it needs to break first this demand level here, this low right here as well, before it may reach the 81.75 area. So this is the next step that we look at with the macro fundamentals. Any questions with the DXY?
No, very good.
No, thank you.
Yeah, don't worry, John. We'll go through all those, okay? So at least we're just getting you familiarized with stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the next step that we look at as well is the markets. What I mean about that is that we mainly look at the major indexes, and we use Bloomberg.com. Okay, so what we look for here is that we just see what happened overnight. So what we can see here is that the Dow Jones has finished in a positive territory with 59 points up. Actually created a new high, and we'll show you the chart in a minute. The S&P also was up by about 5 points, and the Nasdaq as well. In the Eurozone, now I think it's the Eurozone is also finished in a positive territory, and the Asian market is quite mixed. Asian market, Nikkei was up plus 97 points, and the other two, Hong Kong Hang Seng, is down not much by about 4 points, and 8 points down with the ASX, S&P and ASX 200. Okay, so that's what we look for in with the world stock indexes. We also look at the futures. Futures means is that is kind of like a prediction of what's going to happen, what the market will give us at the open of the US market. So at the moment there's a small drop, minus 3 points, so but it's still early during the day. This could change as well. So this could become, maybe in a couple hours time, this could be a positive open, but at the moment it's just showing negative opens, but very, very small at this point, so it's very flat. Okay, so I've got access to the SPX 500 and also the US 30 in my FXEM here in Australia. But with for you to look at, we can also look at the net Dania to look at the Dow 30. So I'll just show you the US 30 chart on the daily. It's not moving. Okay, let's look at here. So how you go is that we go to net Dania, just click on more instruments, indices. We go USA, Dow Jones Industrial 30, and then we add that, click on that, and let's see if it loads. So, okay, so on this chart, what we can see is that the buyers are very much in control. Higher lows, higher highs, new higher high here today. If we look at the weekly, let's see if that's the highest high, which I believe it is. Okay, the monthly will be a much clearer picture. Yes, so new high has been formed yesterday, and so we're still in what we call blue sky territory, since in the past we don't have any history at all where the next high would be. So that's pretty much the highest high. So that you can view that in net Dania as well. And with in FXEM Australia, there's also the chart there showing a new high as well on the daily. So pretty much the same chart. So we'll also look at the monthly here on this chart. Okay, so pretty much the same as well. So new high, blue sky, higher lows, high highs, still uptrend at this point. Okay, any questions with the indices?
No questions on my end, no.
Okay, cool. That's what we look at with macro fundamentals.
All right, awesome. Yeah, then we'll start analyzing, please, certain pairs. Just choose, actually it's only 11:19. Please do the majors and I'll do the yens. Thanks, Ed. And also let's have a look on what you did pretty much from this afternoon and see if there's any trades that followed through.
Okay, cool. Okay, we'll just look through. Okay, so we have 3 different methods: method 1, method 2, and method 3. So we'll go through all the methods. Sorry, my screen is a bit slower today. FXM is a bit slower today. Okay, so what we have here is the euro against the dollar. Euro against the dollar here after a nice support by the buyers. New support base right here has formed. Nice V formation here as well. You can see here now buyers are very much in control. Higher lows, higher highs happening. Okay, so it has been this price right here, so a new high. We can also see a nice break of the primary downtrend line on the daily. And the next price to beat, so just look at the high of this 131.04, high of this 131.07. So the next price to beat is 131.07. We can also draw our horizontal lines here. Okay, so that will be the next supply area. So this is our supply area. This will be our demand area right here, and yeah, so it's a very good supply area here at the moment. So if it breaks that, then it will move further to the upside. So with the setup, there's no current setup for an M1. M2, there's also no setup, but it's in the overbought area. And M3 is still at play. M3, the trigger was on this candle right here, and still no exit strategy to the upside. Okay, any questions with the euro against the dollar? Do you have to go through all the time frames or just the daily?
All time frames, please. Thank you.
All time frames? Okay,
Yes, please.
no worries. Okay, let's go back to M1. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, the 4-hour chart is at the level supply. Currently, it's consolidating or having a breather between this demand and supply areas. You can see right here that sellers are in control. However, it's on an uptrend. So nice consolidation right here, lower one, before it may continue to the upside. On the 1-hour chart, sellers in control here, current candle, buyers back in control. So also is another evidence of that consolidation period between this demand and supply area, so having a breather before it may continue to the upside. Overall trend on the 1 hour is also on an uptrend, but it's at that supply area, so there may be some form of retracement, so it could be a stabilization, retracement before continuation. So that's on the 1 hour chart. M2 on the 4-hour chart. M2, it's in the overbought area on the 4 hours, but currently there's no setup. 1 hour. One hour, there's no setup either. It's in the just above the oversold, but there's no setup at this point. M3 on the 4-hour chart. M3 on the 4-hour chart actually still to the upside. The entry to this to the setup was this candle right here, and still no exit strategy. So still in play for the M3 on the 1-hour chart. Okay, this is the second candle below the 8 and the 10, finishes in 35 minutes time, so this will be a possible entry for the short position. Okay, any questions with the euro dollar? If not, we'll go to the next pair, the pound against the dollar.
Yep, no questions, Aaron.
Okay, pound against the dollar. Pound against the dollar was in a downtrend. Let's just draw our trend lines to see if there's any break in the downtrend. So this will be our primary. Okay, so we can see here, so I draw from here, it's already broken. I can also draw from here because this candle right here took it down. And we can also clearly see that there's also a break in the downtrend line there. Okay, buyers are now very much in control, creating higher lows, higher highs. Some form of stabilization happened here. Buyers took it back up, continuation. There's a very small candle happening here right now, so there could be some more continuation to the upside since it's created a new high within this candle here. It's showing lows in the candles right here, but also higher lows here as well. But overall, buyers are in control, so I can see this moving further up to about the 155 area. On the 4-hour chart, you can see right here buyers in control, stabilization here with this candle. It's at a supply area, yeah, it's having a breather at this point, so there's nothing happening here at this stage. On the 1-hour chart, sellers were in control here, buyers now at the moment. Still, buyers are supporting this area right here, so they don't really want to drop further down here. So back to they don't really also want to go further past the supply area, so they took it down. It's just really consolidating as we see it between the demand and supply area here at the moment. So there's no movement yet. We'll just have to wait till the market opens, see if there's any further continuation to the upside. For our M2, M2, it's in the overbought area, but there's no setup on the daily. 4-hour chart. Four-hour chart also overbought, but there's no setup at this point. 1 hour. One hour, there's a setup a couple hours ago right here. It's in the overbought area on the stochastics, and you would have made money up to here. So it's a nice momentum trade back to this demand level here. But currently there's no setup. Okay, M3 daily. M3, okay, M3, the trigger was this candle right here, second candle above the 8 and the 10, another opportunity here, so it's still at play. Still no exit strategy on the M3 on the daily. 4-hour chart. So slow today. Okay, 4-hour chart. trigger here, second candle above the 8 and the 10, and still at play as well. On the 1 hour chart. One-hour chart, second candle above the 8 and the 10, and this is still also at play. Actually, let me see. No, it's not right. The candle is this is the trigger right here. This is the trigger, and if you look here, if it was a close, it should be 2 candles below, but really nothing. So it's still also at play on the 1 hour chart. That's actually a good. That was a good setup since yesterday, and still to the upside. Any questions with the pound against the dollar?
No questions.
Early on, we show us.
Sorry? Yeah? Go ahead, Tony.
Okay, right. Early on, you show us the Dow industrial that were making a new high, and the dollar's index take a small dip. So my question is, what is the impact on the dollar on the pair here? Like for example, the pound dollar. Would we make the assumption that the dollar would follow the industrial going up in the coming days?
Okay, so there is an inverse relation between the Dow Jones and the DXY, the US dollar index. So as we can see here, okay, I'll just go back to okay, so as you can see here, the US dollar index was dropping, and the Dow was going up. So there's an inverse relation between the Dow 30 and the DXY.
Okay.
So because the DXY or the US dollar index was dropping, then the pound against the dollar went up. Okay, this is 1 hour, but we'll look at the daily since we're also looking at the daily. So the pound against the dollar followed the Dow.
Right.
Okay, so it went up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, you did. And so, could we just a question, an extended questions? Could we make the assumption, the extended assumption that tomorrow that this pair will keep going up too, or it's just too far stretched to make the assumptions?
Since buyers are in control at the moment, there is a good possibility. Let's see, is there any reports? That's the first question that we'll need to have a look at. For reporting, the only reports that we can see is the Fed's minutes in the morning, but there's really nothing for the pound reporting, only the euro and some medium reports for the US, and then the FOMC quite early in the morning, or about, I think, mid-afternoon your time. So in my view is that since buyers are pretty much in control, I can see this going further to the upside. It needs to break, though, this supply area here, this immediate supply area right here, before it can continue to the upside.
Okay.
Okay, so what you can also see here is that buyers is visible now, since also it's also creating higher lows right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it.
Okay, cool. Okay, any other questions? And also, since you're trading the M3, another clue is that it's still way above the 8 and the 10. So it may have a retracement to maybe back to this demand level here if it wants to, but since buyers are very strong, they may just push this to the upside as well. Okay, let's move on to the next pair, major one, Aussie against the dollar. The one that has the biggest impact actually was the Aussie against the dollar when it comes through. Okay, so if you can see right here, buyers are very much in control here. This is actually one of my trades. I actually entered a very good demand area right here. And I'm riding the 1/3 of this pair. That was my first target was 104.90, and the second target was 105. And my third target's now around about here, which is a free ride. Move the stop to a stop win, about 104. So if it takes that, then I'm still in the money. But overall, what we can see here is that it's on an uptrend. Higher lows, this low here is still higher compared to these lows right here, and now has also broken this major supply area here as well, and continuing on. This is our primary downtrend line here, actually nicely touching that at the moment. Once it breaks that, then easy, it will definitely go and retest the supply areas here up to the 106 price area. Okay, so buyers are very strong, and if we look at the 4-hour chart, nice consolidation here for a stabilization, which is our low 1. Now low 2, continuation to the upside. So there's no weakness, still more buyers to the upside. On the 1-hour chart, okay, even on the 1-hour chart, some sort of a correction, low 1 for a stabilization, small correction right here, and now low 2, nice push for the momentum of the buyers to the upside. Another stabilization here, correction as well, and then now more push as well on the 1-hour chart. Okay, or M2. So the Aussie against the dollar is very strong at this stage, which is, I guess, good for us. Okay, so with M2, there's no setup. It's heading to the overbought area. 4 hours. Four-hour chart also overbought, but currently no setup. So if this is a doji here, ends up as a doji, that may be a setup, but we need to wait for this candle to finish. 1 hour. 1 hour, there's also no setup, also heading towards the overbought as well. M3, this is actually the second candle above this is the second candle above the 8 and the 10. This M3 right here is already finished, closed. This is the second candle here that closed below the 8 and the 10. So first candle, second candle today. So at the end of the day, there's a setup here to go long on the Aussie against the dollar. 4-hour chart. Four-hour chart still in play. The setup here is the trigger was this candle right here, and still in play. No exit strategy yet. Okay, on the 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart. Okay, this one was the trigger for the 1-hour chart. Trigger here to close. This is the second candle below, first candle, second candle above, giving you more opportunities to go actually long on the 1-hour chart as well. Okay, any questions with the Aussie against the dollar?
No questions.
No questions. Ray, do you still want me to go through, or do you want to take over?
Yeah, no questions. Actually, while you're at it, you might as well finish all the ends. Only got 3 left anyway.
Okay. Okay, let's start with the dollar yen. Okay, this is actually one of our trades today, method 1. Yesterday's candle was an indecision candle at the level of supply. Today, it's also showing sign of weakness. What we can see right here is that it's also a big gap, actually a visible gap at the close of this candle and at the open of this candle. Now, gaps in our experience will be closed sometime somewhere in the future, and what we can see here as well is that some form of weakness, candles weakening at this point, and there may be some form of retracement. Since 1 to 3 days in a row, the buyers push it back up very steeply to past the 99, close to the 100 mark. Not quite hitting that at this point. If you also look at the weekly chart, just want to show you where the supply level is, because it's actually at a very good supply area. And what we can see is that sellers at the moment are resisting the supply area here. Now on the weekly chart, it's also showing that the buyers are very strong and there's no signs of weakness, but our trade today is a short trade for a retracement to the downside. So so that's our trade today. Entered at this on this candle right here, and our target is around about the 97 price area. So if it does retrace itself up to this level, it may even retrace to about the 50%, since the 50% area is actually a very strong demand area here. So it has a possibility that it will retrace to this area here, but we're happy with taking the 97 price area at this point. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart also shows evidence of this pair weakening. The lows, the highs are actually lower, and the low here as well is also tested a new low right here. And if you notice, the highs are also lower here within these two candles here as well. So sellers are resisting going further past these supply areas right here. So there could be some form of a retracement to at least the 38% before it may continue to the upside. On the 1-hour chart, the 1-hour chart also clear evidence of some form of weakness. However, it's also consolidating as well between two levels, price levels, between this demand and supply area. But it also visible, it's also clear that the lows are also lower as well. Okay, let's look at our method 2 setup, if there's any setups. M2, possible setup for an M2. So if it's in the overbought, if this candle drops at least to the 50% of this big candle right here, that will be a good setup. And yeah, you can also use your fibs to draw and do the retracement to the downside. So there's a setup right there at the end of the day. 4-hour chart. Four-hour chart, there's no setup at this point, and the 1-hour chart. 1 hour chart. There's actually a setup there, but on these candles here, there's no setup. M3 daily. M3, this is the second candle above the 8 and the 10. Visible clear gap between the 8 and the 10, so it has to retrace to touch the 8 and the 10 before it may continue to the upside. On the 4-hour chart, M3 still in play. This is actually the second candle above the 8 and the 10. Close the gap here. You can see that visible gap there, and still within the 8 and the 10. But if you traded this, you would have taken some profits up here, since there may be some form of a drop to the downside. On the 1-hour chart, okay, it's saying this is the second candle above the 8 and the 10, saying to go long. So there's a nice opportunity here. It closes in about 10 minutes time. A long position to the upside on the 1-hour chart. Okay, any questions with the dollar yen?
No questions.
No questions. Harry,
no
do you
questions.
want to do the other £2?
Oh, yeah. All right.
Or,
Good call,
hey, Harry
Ann.
has left. He's left.
Where'd he
They might
go?
be internet issues, though. I think internet issues could be.
Okay. All right. Okay, just finish the other two, please.
We'll let him analyze another pair when he comes back. Okay. Okay, let's look at the euro yen. The euro yen is similar to the dollar yen.
Sorry. I couldn't see it on my end.
Oh, here he is. Yeah, it's loading.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's back. Okay.
Okay, let's pass it on to Harry.
Yep. That's it.
Hello?
Hello, Harry.
Mic check. Harry, are you there?
Nah, it's offline again. This internet.
Okay. Offline. All right.
Okay,
Your
sorry,
turn.
guys.
Ann, okay.
Here
Oh,
he
there he
is.
is.
He's back. Okay.
All right.
you ready, Harry?
Third time lucky, hopefully. Okay, let's check it out. Yeah, either that or some internet problems on his end. Okay, and the other lastly, please just finish it off.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, M1 on the euro yen, same thing as well. Yesterday's candle is an indecision candle, or what we call a stabilization candle. However, on this candle right here, if this was actually quite strong to the upside, buyers should have taken further up as well, but it's now showing some sign of weakness, so there could be some form of a retracement happening very shortly. So with the retracement levels, we can use our fib from this low to this high. It's the last low to the current high. And it has a potential of retracing to the downside to at least the 38%, but the 125.95 area, which is also a very good demand level here. Okay, so that was another good M1 setup that we got in. Okay, 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, we can also see some form of weakness here as well. Lower, the highs are lower now. However, they're also supporting this demand level right here. So there's not much action as well, which is visible in the daily with that small doji candle on today's candle. However, what we like about this is that the highs are actually lower here. Okay, let's look at the 1-hour chart. Okay, 1-hour chart as well. This high here is, these highs right here are lower compared to this high. So it's also consolidating as well between these two price areas right here. So it's not much action happening just going up and down between these two levels. Okay, M2 daily. M2 daily, there's a possible setup right here, nice doji formation here, overbought, and if that drops to at least the 50% of this candle, then that will be a good trigger. As long as it finishes below the 50% of this candle, then there's a good setup to go short on the M2. On the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, there's no setup at the moment, but also in the overbought area. In the 1-hour chart, no setup at this point. M3 on the daily. Okay, similar, second candle above the 8 and the 10, nice big gap between the 8 and the 10, so it's bound to retrace to touch the 8 and the 10 before it will continue to the upside. But there's no exit strategy yet for the M3 on the daily. On the 4-hour charts, similar as well. This is the second candle above the 8 and the 10, and the M3 is still to the long side, still in play, and you would have taken profits up here since it's at the supply area, because there may be some form of a retracement to the downside when it breaks the 8 and the 10 to the downside. But at the moment, there's no exit strategy yet. On the 1-hour chart, 1-hour chart is a different story. That's the second candle. Actually, the long setup from here is still in play. There's no two candles below the 8 and the 10 yet, and still above the 8 and the 10 at the moment. Okay, so that's still in play for now, until we see two candles that close below the 8 and the 10. Any questions with the euro-yen?
No questions. Thank you.
And the last one with our yens would be the pound-yen. So we entered the dollar-yen, the pound-yen, and also the euro-yen. They're all very similar M1 strategies, good level of supply. You can see here that buys are in control, nice stabilization here. Could be some form of correction before it may continue to the upside, or it may even continue to the upside today. But if this was strong during the Asian market, this should really be above the 150-250 today, right now. So there's some form of weakness, so there could be some form of retracement before it may continue to the upside. Same thing as well, we also took our Fib retracement for our target. and target is the 38% right there, which is also a good level of demand. The best level will be here, of course, below the 62%. Even the 50% is a good level there, but we're happy to have a nice profit to this area here. Okay, well, let's look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart also for that's the last high, and you can also see that the highs are lower as well, even if buys were in control. Very small candles, nothing happening there at the moment, so it's stabilizing at this point. On the 1-hour chart, 1-hour chart, same thing. Sellers resisting this price area. Highs are lower, but also buyers are also supporting this area right here as well. Very small candles, so there's not much action happening either. On the M2 daily, M2 daily, this could be a possible setup when this drops below the at least the 50% of this first candle right here. We call that an evening star to the downside. So that will be a good setup for an M2 short. On the 4-hour, on the daily, on the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, it's hovering just below the overbought area, but there's no setup. And on the 1-hour chart, no setup either. M3 daily. M3 daily, the trigger was the second candle here, but there's also a big gap between the 8 and the 10, so there could be some form of retracement before it may continue to the upside there, but there's no exit strategy yet for the M3 long. 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, the trigger was this candle here and still in play up here. So still above the 8 and the 10, and there's still no exit strategy to close this long position and reverse to the downside. 1-hour chart. Okay, 1-hour chart. Let me see. Okay, the trigger is this second candle here above the 8 and the 10. Let's see if there's 2 candles. No, still in play as well for this long position to the upside. So no exit strategy, still to the long side on the 1-hour chart for the M3. Okay, any questions with the pound against the yen?
No questions. Pretty good.
Okay.
All right, cool. So any potential trades that you found?
Potential trades is a possible M2 on the yens based on the daily chart. So we need to see what this candle finishes. So it's similar to
Excellent.
Euro yen. Same thing as well, and then also the dollar yen. The dollar yen is probably a better bet.
Okay. All right, well done, Anne. Good job. I'll just pass it on back to my end. All right, just to share with you as well, you can enter if you want to. I just added another position pretty much on the dollar against the CAD as well. Still pretty much holding as of 2-3 days ago, and just adding one more into the position that actually the stop loss will be based on this one. There's no stop based on the M3 method, but the additional one was actually based on M1 with that low right there will be the stop. So there are 2 particular stops. There's one there and one there, and obviously the method 3 exit. So odds and probability, if the market will choose to retrace a little bit, this one from here, higher high, higher low, next level. So this might be a new change of the pivot. Okay, as long as it does want to go below the low of yesterday, then pretty much we'll be in the money. All right. Well done, Anne. Any questions for her or myself? Then there's no other questions. Then well done. We'll see you tomorrow. And then for the guys like John, I'll see you tomorrow at the Trader Dojo, and also tomorrow night. Sweet.
Okay, Ray.
All right, guys. Take it easy.